How you doing? The power of your subconscious mind. Miracles at various shrines throughout the world. On every continent, in every land, there are shrines at which cures take place. Some are world famous, like Lourdes, and others are known only to those who live nearby. Whether celebrated or obscure, the healings that take place at these shrines happen for the same reason and by way of the same powers of the subconscious mind. I have visited several of the famous shrines in Japan. The central focus of the world-renowned shrine of Daibutsu is a gigantic bronze statue, 42 feet tall. It depicts Buddha seated with folded hands, his head inclined, in an attitude of profound contemplative ecstasy. Contemplative ecstasy. Here I saw young and old making offerings at its feet. Money, fruit, rice, and oranges were offered. Candles were lit, incense was burned, and prayers of petition were recited. I listened to the chant of a young girl as she intoned a prayer, bowed low, and placed 2 oranges as an offering. She was thanking Buddha for restoring her voice. She had lost her voice, but it was restored at the shrine. Her simple faith that Buddha would give her back her singing voice if she followed a certain ritual, fasted, and made certain offerings had helped to kindle faith and expectancy. The result was a conditioning of her mind to the point of belief. Her subconscious mind then responded to her belief. The power of imagination and blind belief cannot be overstated. A wondrous example of this is the case of a relative of mine in Perth, in Western Australia, who suffered from tuberculosis. His lungs were badly diseased. His son decided to help his father heal himself. He went to his father's home and told him he had recently met a wandering monk with strange powers. This monk had just returned from a long stay at one of the most celebrated healing shrines in Europe. There he had acquired a small fragment of the true cross, set in a ring dating back from the Middle Ages. Over the centuries, countless sufferers had been healed after touching a ring or the fragment of the cross. When the son had heard this, he had told the monk about his father's illness and begged to borrow the ring. The monk had agreed. The son then gave the monk a free will offering of the equivalent of $500. When the son showed his father the ring, the older man practically snatched it from him. He clasped the ring to his chest, prayed silently, and went to sleep. In the morning he was healed. All the clinic's tests proved negative. Healings of this sort happen all the time. What is most significant about this one is that the son's amazing story was totally made up. In fact, he had picked up a splinter of ordinary wood from the sidewalk, taken it to a jeweler, and had it set in a gold ring of antique design. He then gave it to his father. You know, of course, it was not the splinter of wood from the sidewalk that healed the father. No, it was his imagination aroused to an intense degree, plus the confident expectancy of a perfect healing. Imagination was joined to faith or subjective feeling, and the union of the two brought about a healing through the power of his subconscious mind. The father never learned of the trick that had been played upon him. If he had, he might well have had a relapse. Instead, his tuberculosis never returned. He remained completely cured and passed away from other causes 15 years later, at the age of 89. Know that faith is like a seed planted in the ground. It grows after its kind. Plant the seed in your mind. Plant the idea, which is the seed, in your mind. Water it and fertilize it with expectancy, and it will manifest. Be a mental engineer and use tried and proved techniques in building a grander and greater life. Learn to pray for your loved ones who may be ill. Quiet your mind and your thoughts of healing, vitality, and perfection, operating through the one universal subjective mind, will be felt and resurrected in the mind of your loved one. Thank you.